Hi everyone, it's Mike with Crane Realty. Hope you're all having a great day out there. This video wanted to address sellers and the proper selling technique. When you sit down with a listing agent, a variety of different things is going to be addressed, and one of the things that you'll talk about is the proper selling technique for your home. There's a number of different ways to do it depending on the property, the market, the climate in which your property is selling in, and what's the best strategy to implement. For example, listing over the fair market value or putting the price at the fair market value, basically what you'd expect for somebody to pay for your property, or aggressively listing it under the fair market value in hopes of drumming up a lot of interest, creating that bidding war in which you're hoping that people are going to be trying to outbid each other and escalate up at or past that kind of fair market standard. Addressing the latter, that last strategy, I'm starting to see in the market for a number of different listing agents and the homes that they're trying to sell, that strategy backfiring. There was a day in time, even like 12 months ago, prior to our market going through a little bit of a shift, where that strategy really could be applied towards anything, a mobile home, pretty much any type of home in particular, even from a high end, kind of a mid-range, whether it was in a hotbed kind of market, track homes, super desirable locations, or something out in the countryside. Now it's starting to become a little bit more noticeable when sellers are trying to implement that strategy for homes, and I would phrase it, that bear unique characteristics to them. Perhaps there might be some categories in which that home kind of punches high in a lot of the plus ranges, but where there's maybe some negatives or drawbacks. Basically dated home throughout, needing updates, wallpaper, kitchen that needs to have a remodel at the bare minimum, those types of factors trying to outweigh some of those big pluses. Maybe a home like that nature is really not meant to employ a drastically listing under what you're anticipating to get for the property. What end up might happening is instead of having 10, 15 plus offers, it's really only 3, 4, 5 serious buyers, and maybe they're going to actually come in at asking. They might put a little bit on the top of it as far as what they're willing to escalate to, or they might even try to negotiate you down, which is a real shocker to any sellers out there saying, well, you're employing this strategy. You're showing to me within the last 9, 12 months that this is what my home could have been worth and what it could hit up to. And then you're trying to essentially feel out the market in hopes that you could employ this strategy and get to that point. It's not meant for every home anymore. The market has shifted. Buyers are starting to become a little bit more in tune with what their financial credibilities are and where they're willing to go on a certain home. And the reach is beginning to get dialed in a little bit more as far as what buyers are willing to pay for certain properties. Certainly the ones that have unique characteristics to it. And I know for a number of different sellers that they might look at their own home and say, well, I feel like for my home, there's not a lot of negative things or certain ideas about it that maybe you need to have a realtor kind of come in and create a little bit more awareness as far as where your property is and those unique characteristics that could create not necessarily a drawback, but less buyer's intensity on certain homes. Certainly the newer builds, the track homes, sometimes it's based on school district, which is highly sought over. And if the population density in some of these regions is just really minimal, if there's a strong enough buyer pool, it's basic economics and it's going to drive that price up. So it's kind of a false read for some sellers out there that are looking at some of these examples and saying, well, my home's going to be able to do the same thing. Well, maybe not. Your home is going to fetch perhaps a different type of buyer pool, and you can't compare apples to apples at this point. It's certainly, we've come a long way since springtime of last year in 2022, prior to the inflation and the interest rate change. Certainly, that's really kind of changed our market quite a bit. So hopefully this information is helpful to all of you out there. If it is, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and click the subscribe button as we come out with new content each and every week. Again, I'm Mike with Crane Realty, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.